Hi, I'm Kathy Henry. I am a licensed clinical social worker in the Indianapolis area, and I work for a company called Healing Hearts of Indy, which my partner and I just started a couple of months ago. We have a great deal of expertise between the two of us, and one of the things that I talk about with people pretty frequently is whether or not they are too needy. Are you too needy? Most of us have a hard time admitting to such a thing. Even if we do recognize a little bit of it in ourselves, no, it's not a pleasant term that most of us want to acknowledge and admit to other people. But it's important for us to know what is a healthy amount of neediness in a relationship and when are we too needy. Some of the signs that you might be too needy are when you want to spend all of your spare time with someone. This is very common in the beginning of a relationship. It's a romantic relationship, but even after the first couple of months or so, if it's still going on, you might be a little bit too needy and too reliant upon the other person to fill you up. If you get anxious being alone, you might be too needy or too clingy in a relationship. If you use anger or guilt to manipulate the other person into spending time with you, if you blame your partner for feeling miserable or uncomfortable because they're not spending enough time with you, if you are constantly assessing the relationship to see if it's going to make it or not. For example, a lot of times when couples are separated, there's a lot of, I can't take this anymore. I need to know. Are we going to be married or are we going to be divorced? And honestly, you don't need to know right now. I ask people that a lot of times. What would you be doing differently if you knew you weren't going to be married? And it kind of takes them off guard. But in truth, what it is they're saying, I need this other person in order to fill myself up, and I can't fathom what that would look like without them. So that's a sign of being a little too needy or too dependent upon their relationship for their own well-being. Another sign is when much of your energy and your thought process are consumed by the other person, thinking about them a lot, calling them, texting them, planning time together, wondering why they aren't calling you, testing them to see if, oh, do they love me enough? Maybe they haven't texted me yet today or whatever. Sometimes we will even keep our plans loose just in case the other person wants to spend time with us, and then we'll, like a puppy dog, we will just, jump at the ready as soon as they say they want to spend time with us. Sometimes we will feel jealous of our partner's other relationships, their friendships, or even their connection with their siblings or their parents or coworkers, or maybe you don't have a lot of friends and your partner does have a lot of friends and you'll feel jealous about that. Another sign is when we sort of abandon our own friends when we get in a new relationship. Now, this is common to an extent. You're trying to figure out how this new person is going to fit into your time schedule, but sometimes we will completely abandon everyone else around us that matters to us because we're clinging so tightly to the new person and we don't continue living our lives the way that we did. Another way is a sign that we might be a little too needy is when we really have a small or no real circle of friends to fall back on, and therefore we are, again, too reliant, too dependent upon this relationship. Most people are not aware that they are doing these things. We all want to believe that we're healthy and that we have a healthy amount of neediness and that this is normal for a relationship, but if you are indeed too needy, then you are probably hearing from your love interest that you are suffocating them or that they need space. So as you are pulling closer and closer and trying to draw them closer and closer to you, they're trying to counterbalance that by needing more and more space, and it just gets very messy and uncomfortable. Why is it that you might be too needy? Well, abandonment drives us for an excessive need for someone else to fill us up. When we rely too heavily on others to get our needs met, then we develop what I call a desperate dependence upon them for our very well-being. And so then we are looking to them and we are frustrated when we don't get enough out of them. As a child, we are supposed to get healthy balance of meeting our own needs or autonomy and also getting our needs met through others or healthy connection with other people. If we didn't learn these things as a child, or we didn't get to experience that balance as a child, then we often look too heavily to our love interest as an adult to fill that need for us. So we get married, we hand that over to our partner and say, here, it's yours. And then we're angry at them because they're not meeting our needs well enough. So what's the fallout of all of this? Over neediness puts a lot of pressure on our relationships. And as long as our mindset remains that our needs are someone else's responsibilities, we are going to be at their mercy. That's bad for both of us. We will constantly feel victimized by the other person, and we may even lash out frequently at the ones that we love because they're not connecting with us and filling our needs the way that we think that they should. So our constant pursuit of others to fill us up will eventually drive them away from us. And they begin to feel obligated to spend time with us. And we can feel that when our partner is doing it because they feel like they have to. It'll feel like to them like they can never fill us up, like they put a deposit in and it drains right out, and then we're looking at them for the next fill up. We may even, in some of the more severe cases, we may appear like a burn victim, meaning everything hurts. They come up and try to give us a hug to show us that they love us, and we lash out at them because we're hurting because of all of the times they didn't spend time with us before. So we can't even really stop and appreciate the time that we do get with them because we're so hurt and fragile from all of the times that they weren't able to spend time with us when they were trying to have a healthy connection and we were being too needy. Time spent together with them is in fact fraught with anxiety with them, so they may begin to avoid us because they don't know what our reaction is going to be. And one example I'll give is a client was on vacation with her husband, and on the first day she was walking around holding his hand and feeling sad and already sort of mourning the loss because the vacation was going to be over soon and she wasn't going to get to be spending that kind of time with him anymore, and so she wasn't even able to appreciate the vacation. So what's the fix for this if you find out that indeed you are a little too needy? Number one, it's don't panic. It's not the end of the world. Like I said, we all have a little clinginess in us. But you have to recognize and deal with it, or every relationship that you have is going to be difficult. As long as we are looking to someone else to fill us up, we will always be left wanting. We have got to learn how to meet our own needs. We've got to figure out what our own needs are so that we can meet them. We need to learn how to meet them by ourselves, not just through other people. We need to know who we are, even without our partner. We need to learn how to be alone, and I mean really alone. Go to a festival by yourself, go to dinner by yourself, go to a movie by yourself. Learn how to just sit in silence. Learn how to have a life outside of your partner, have other connections besides your partner that fill you up and bring you joy and give you contentment in life. Also, learn how to deal, and this is really important, learn how to deal with the anxiety that you feel when there is distance in your relationship between you and your partner. If you don't face that anxiety and learn how to deal with it, then you will constantly be looking to the other person and you will be very anxious and unsatisfied most of your time in that relationship. By saying that if you can't stand on your own 2 feet outside of a relationship on your own, then you will never find peace inside of a relationship. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a great day.